Hi everyone! Today I want to share with you my version of New York style cheesecake topped with berries. In this video you'll learn how to bake perfect soft and creamy cheesecake without any water bath and pre-cooked base. We'll start making this recipe by crushing 120 grams of medium sweet biscuits in a food processor. If you don't have one, then put the biscuits in a large Ziploc bag, then roll them out with a rolling pin. Transfer those crumbs to a mixing bowl and stir in 80 grams of melted butter. Then mix until the crumbs are evenly moistened. Take a 9-inch springform pan and grease it with butter. Then transfer those moist crumbs to the pan and use your hand, a spoon or a flat bottom cup to spread them evenly on the bottom. And I know that many recipes call for baking the base, but I don't do that simply because I don't like crunchy base in a cheesecake and I really love it to be soft and moistened. Anyway, this is just my personal preference, so if you do like crunchy base, then I'll leave the method of how to make it in the recipe notes. I also use baking paper to cover the sides, but this is not mandatory. I just saw this method the other days and decided to try it, although there is no need to do that. For the filling, add 600 grams of cream cheese and 115 grams of sugar in a bowl and mix them well until combined. Make sure the products you use for the filling are at the room temperature before mixing them together. Otherwise, they might not blend as smoothly. In this recipe, you don't need to use a mixer or a blender to mix the cream. However, if you use one, then make sure you set up the lower speed to ensure that all the ingredients blend perfectly. In a separate bowl, crack 2 eggs. I'm doing that just to avoid dropping any eggshells in the filling. You know, accidents might happen even when you expect them less. Here I add them both at the same time, but if you have to make a bigger cheesecake and you have to use 4 or 5 eggs, then it's better to add them one by one. Mix the eggs with cream until well combined. Then add 200 grams of sour cream. Also add the juice of a quarter lemon and 5 drops of vanilla essence. It also can be replaced with vanilla sugar. Now pour all that cheesecake filling into the pan. The filling should not be runny but slightly dense. Make the top evenly using a spoon or jiggle the pan. Preheat the oven to 120 degrees Celsius top-bottom and bake the cheesecake for 90 minutes. For the topping, you'll need 300 grams of berries of your choice. I used frozen berry mix and I left them to defrost while the cheesecake is baking. Once the baking time ran out, test the cheesecake for doneness. If it wobbles slightly in the middle, it means that it is just perfect. Put it back inside and leave the door cracked for another 60 minutes. When the cheesecake is cooled, let's make the topping. Add the berries in a blender and mix well until it becomes a puree. Optional, you can pass the obtained puree through a sieve if you want to get rid of any seeds, but personally they don't bother me, so I don't do that. Add the puree to a pot and leave it to warm slightly. In the meantime, we'll weigh 75 grams of sugar and 3 grams of agar-agar powder. Agar-agar powder is used to thicken the puree. If you don't have it, then simply use 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Add the sugar to the pot, mix it well, and bring the puree to the boil. When the mixture is boiling, turn the heat to low-medium and boil for another 5 minutes. Once it's done, leave it to cool until it has about 60 degrees Celsius. If you don't have a thermometer to check that, then simply leave it for another 5 minutes to cool. The berry puree should be still hot when you pour it on top of your cheesecake. Once finished, leave it to cool at room temperature and then store it in the fridge for at least 6 to 8 hours, or better, overnight. I left my cheesecake overnight and here it is. Perfectly cooked New York style cheesecake that melts in your mouth. Just look how smooth and creamy it is inside. I hope you guys will try this recipe and will enjoy your cheesecake as much as I do. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll be more than happy to answer them. See you in the next video. Bye bye!